All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. This is Brother Kwabanam, also known as Q, coming at you with the sit-down lesson, all right? So today we're going to talk about nationality. Being called Mexican is not your race. It is a nationality, okay? There's a big difference when I say that. The difference is nationality. Nationality is you belong to a certain nation because you were born there, okay? Like, I'll give you an example. You got white people that are born in Mexico right now. They be considered Mexican because they were born in Mexico. But their ethnic background is European, white, Caucasian, you know? Your race is your ancestral background, okay? It's where you come from ancestrally. Or to my soul people, it's basically your heritage, right? So I'll give you an example of that. You got some Chinese people that are born in America, okay? And that be their nationality. They be considered American through their nationality. But their race is Asian. That's their race. So that's the big difference, okay? So nationality, is where you're born in, and your race is where you go back to ethnically or ancestrally, okay? And it's just that simple, all right? So Mexicano, being called a Mexican, can't be your race because it's a nationality, okay? You got Jewish people that are born in Mexico, or you got Jewish people that are in Mexico right now that call themselves Mexicano, or yeah, Mexican pride, but also I'm Jewish and I go back to Jerusalem. Like, you two races at the same time? Like, it'll make no sense. That's what I'm saying. Mexican is just a nationality. It's not a race, okay? So, and that's why you got so many Mexicans that are so proud to say that, oh, I'm not Mexican. I used to get mad at this too. Oh, I'm not Mexican. I'm American because I was born in America. You know, back then I used to get mad at that. Like, damn, why is this fool saying that? Don't you know you're Mexican? Not knowing that he knew that being called Mexican is a nationality. It's not your race. It's a nationality. He knew that being born in America was your nationality because you were born there. You know, you weren't born in. If you weren't born in Mexico, you wouldn't be called Mexican, because that's a nationality, bro. You know. So, but then you got some fools, and you know, you got scoffers that say, "Well, Mexican is a race because you got some tribes in Mexico that were called Mexica, and that goes back to Mexican." And it's like, yes, I understand, bro, but that's one tribe. That's one tribe. You have multiple tribes in the region of Mexico. You know, you have Purupechas, Tarahumaras, you have the Mayans, and etc. You got multiple tribes in Mexico. So you can't say that all Mexicans are Mexicas when there was multiple tribes in Mexico. You know, you can't put one label on one people, you know? I say that to say that being called Mexican is a nationality, not a race. Okay, please understand the difference, please. Okay? So then there's the big question, you know? So what am I? Where do I go back to? Where do I come from? You know? And so to know where you come from, to know if you're indigenous or not, just ask your parents. Ask your parents where you go back to, specifically from your father's side, you know? Because back then, the indigenous people, they were patrilineal. Patrilineal just means that you come from the seed of your father. Now, yes, you got matrilineal tribes. Matrilineal means that you come from the seed of your mother, okay? But here comes the confusion. You got white people that say that, oh, yes, I'm Native American because my great-great-grandmother was Cherokee. And it's like, okay, but your countenance and just yourself alone, your spirit just screams oppressor. You know, because they want to say that, yeah, my great-great-grandmother, because Cherokees, they trace their lineage from the mother's side. So my great-grandmother, she was Native American, and then through her daughters, they were Native American, and through me, I'm Native American. And you see the confusion there? Like, white people try to claim Native and indigenous, like, ancestry, but when they're really not. Because their spirit just screams oppressor. Caucasian. European. You can even look at their spirit, because the spirit exposes itself. Like, you can look at their spirit and be like, yeah, these are white girls. Now, they act like white girls. You know, you can't be indigenous. You can't be. You know? That's why it's important to know where you come from your father's side of the family. Okay? And this is a biblical concept too. Let's get Numbers chapter 1, verse 18. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees. Pedigree just means the lineage, okay? So they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. So that's just saying that you come from the seed of your father. That's where you come from. So if you're trying to figure out where you come from, like what's your heritage, what's your race, trace your lineage back on your father's side. Okay? Trace it back from your father's side. Because if you don't, you're gonna get accounts, or you're gonna get fools that's like iron jacking, you know, or as I like to call them, iron jack off.
Styles, challenging the rule and authority of European monarchy and rejecting the whole of European Western culture. And as the Christianized and colonized members of our population adopted European Western style clothing and the way in which they were worn, and adopted Western culture and religion, stopped speaking the language, whose skin did not wear the tochait lachuiloli, the earned warrior tattoos, who no longer sung the old songs, who no longer wore the piochitli or temilo, the genethleic warrior braid at the background of the head.
You're going to get fools like that say, oh, I'm indigenous because of my mother's side of the family. But really, he's just a regular old white dude, bro. He's just a white dude that's trying to claim to be indigenous. You know? So yeah, man. Overall, Mexican is a nationality. It is not a race. Okay? So if you want to figure out where you come from, ethnic-wise, trace back to your father's side of the family. And if you happen to be indigenous, hey, all praise to the Most High. You'll be considered an Israelite according to the Bible. And you'll be God's chosen people. Okay? And it's your duty to keep the commandments of the Most High God and have faith in His Son, Hamashiach Yahushai, also known as Jesus Christ. Okay? So with that, I want to give all praises and honors to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Hamashiach Yahushai. Lord willing, you guys get edified. And with that, I say shalom.